Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of HaiPulse webinar. And today, with my colleague Alexander, we will unpack the e-commerce and fulfillment challenges. I am Anna, channel marketeer here at HiRobotics for EMEA, and here's Alexander.
Hi, I'm Alexander Beschel. I'm responsible for the solution team for HiRobotics in EMEA, so all Europe, Middle East, and Africa.
Thank you. So I guess it's the time to start for us the unpacking. What are the retail and e-commerce challenges that a market faces? And for the market today, we'll start with a short introduction, also about the real challenges that the industry faces, and then how the flexible solutions that even HiRobotics offers can work in practice, and then we'll wrap up with a Q&A. So please drop your questions in the question inbox. We will get to them at the end of the webinar. So, a little introduction.
Great. Maybe let me introduce first a little bit HiRobotics. So we were founded 2016 in China, in Shenzhen, and then maybe the next interesting milestone was then already 2022 when we started our operation in Europe. We have today in about 1,000 people around the world, and we have about 100 people already in Europe working for us. We have sold already about 3,500 robots in EMEA in 18 different countries. Not to forget that we have already 3 offices now. We are the leader of ASRS related to AMRs and ACRs. And I think the biggest benefit of our system is the flexibility, right? We have a very modular system which can adapt to all kinds of different warehouses and business cases. And we are quite proud to serve already 37 different customers, with also some big brand names like Desigual, JD, TME, or John Lewis. So in this short time being in Europe, we have quite accomplished some things. Looking forward to discuss what we can do for e-commerce.
And yes, we also have quite a portfolio.
Yeah, it's true. So you see in the left upper corner, everything started with HiPulse System 1. HiPulse System 1, easily explained, is then the ACR, so this autonomous case handling robot. It's a big animal, right? It's a basic AMR with a big mast on it, which enables us to go into shelves and retrieve and put away totes into shelves, but also can go down to workstations in order to feed them. It was very successful because the HiPod, which we see in the right corner of that picture, because it enabled that we can put all the 8 totes from the back trays directly into the HiPod, and the robot did not stay for a long time on the workstations, and this made the system very efficient, and we succeeded to first have a very good ROI for the customer, and were also competitive to other technologies on the market. Obviously, this was not as flexible yet, right? We could handle different carton sizes and tote sizes, so we were flexible on small loads. But the question is, how do we extend flexibility? So the idea of HiPulse System 2 was born. So the traditional AMR on the floor now handling any kind of pallets, but all kind of load carriers you can imagine, even maybe Garmin on hanger, on specific racking. If you needed maybe oversized items to handle in the system, or Garmin, which hangs, right? So now we had the possibility of handling carton, totes, pallets, etc. So we had a very wide portfolio what we can handle in our technology. But it was not yet as fast as we wanted it to have, right? So we had a part of the market which we could handle already. So the question was, how do we speed up the system? And that is the idea of HiPulse System 3 was born. Combining now the big ACR, working in the racks, doing put away or retrievals, and then the slow vehicle, the big slow vehicle, did not need to go to the workstation anymore. How do we handle that? So we have a small AMR now on the ground, which is doing part of the job. big ACRs, taking the totes from the upper shelves and then putting it down on a buffer location. And then from this buffer location, the small AMR is now going to any kind of interface. Yeah, it can be conveyor docking points, it can be workstations. It is a big variety of different possibilities how we then interface to up or downstream systems or deliver directly to the picker. And the speed increase was quite interesting. So it was already double as fast as it was with a HaiPulse System 1. But there was still businesses, especially one we are talking today about, e-commerce, where you needed more performance. Yeah? We had more individual orders, which is asking to the system a much higher performance needed. And so again, the idea is like, how can we speed up this ASRS? And so HaiPulse Clamp was born. Yeah? We saw in the last half a year many of different publications to the system already. But the main idea is that the robot now is climbing into the racks, and it's also doing all the movements on the ground directly to the workstation. So we have now a single step process for put away and for retrieval. And what is a huge benefit is that the system now was designed that the floor under the racking is completely free, which is very important if you look at AMR technology itself. So the optimization of speed towards workstation, the biggest constraint is floor space. Yeah. So the more space I have, the easier I can optimize my robots in order to avoid traffic congestions close to high performance areas. So Climb now, if you look at a former ASRS, you would have aisles, you would drive out of the aisles, and then you would come to this front zone between racking and workstations, and the robot would start to optimize themselves only in that very little area, which has its challenges not to create congestions. So with HaiPulse Climb now, the complete floor is open, and we can start to optimize the robots already under the racking, which says the optimization area now is the complete warehouse. And now we start in the back already to optimize the robots and then go directly out to the workstations, and so we can increase the speed to workstation quite nicely. So again, if we just put a number on it, so between 3 and Climb, I see again double the speed now being able to be delivered to the workstations.
Thank you. That's one of the most thorough explanation of the system. And as you mentioned, that it also suits very well with the fulfillment of the e-commerce and retails. So I guess it's the right time to start about their challenges and how the fulfillment landscape changes. And as the shift comes into the retail, we see that customers, they want more variety of the products online, especially with the boom after the pandemics, where everything shifted to online. So the entire landscape was started to be more fragmented, more high velocity, with the orders that are with less items, but more often taken from the warehouse. This also brings us to the challenges that the Europe becomes a very expensive place, and as we serve for EMEA, the not only warehouse rental costs but as well as labor costs do increase, and it all pressures the industry.
Yes, absolutely.
How does these challenges hold back the fulfillment?
Yeah, so let's look at the warehouse. What happens if the customer now is asking for more different types of SKUs, right? So if you look at it, before we had like more brick and mortar and e-commerce being on the side, and then we had the end customer was used to normal store where you have a limited number of SKUs, right? If you would go shopping now, you look at it and say, okay, you just had 3 different kinds of shoes of a specific kind, and maybe certain sizes they had, and if they didn't, then they would just order it, and you would have to come 2 weeks later into getting your specific pair of shoes, for example. But what e-commerce is, so now you have a digital platform. It's very easy to add lots of different types of SKUs. And the competition now between the e-commerce platforms immediately pushed SKUs up, because the wider offering you had, the more customers you would get into your e-commerce thing, So SKUs started to explode, You just imagine now that you have now from the same pair of shoe, different types of colors, different sizes, and you cannot say like in a brick and mortar, I'm sorry, I don't have it in my shelf. You need to have all of the thing you have in your e-shop, you have to have also in your warehouse. So this brings now this SKU complexity. You suddenly need to stock all of it. Second problem is that we obviously have a much faster service landscape. So e-commerce platforms started to compete on speed. When we first said, it's like, I was used to, if I order it, I get it in a week. Then suddenly the competitors started to deliver it in 2 days and then in 1 day. And today we're talking about last mile deliveries on the same day. If you look at China, it is even within hours. We talk about, I click on this and 2 hours later, I got it at my doorstep. So this processing time is just quite challenging to an automation system. And then not to forget, if you had yesterday a certain SKU range you were handling in your manual warehouse with your labor inside, then now you needed much more people because you had much higher throughput on these warehouses. And for this, you also needed a lot more labor, which is contradicting to our situation where literally not so many people want to work in warehouses anymore. It's not a favorite job if you finish school that you want to start to work in a warehouse. So obviously the society is moving towards different types of jobs, and then it's very difficult to find people to do the job. And even if you find them, that there's a lot of competition. So we have many of these warehouses all need this labor. So there's a price competition between the warehouses, who bids more, and then with these labor costs are going up again. Looking now on the other side on what does it mean on your warehouse? So one thing is that if you have a manual warehouse, you obviously can build shelves only to where your pickup reaches, right? So it's like this 2 meters thing, and then it's finished. And from there, you have to build very expensive pick towers, in order to have multiple layers above each other to fill the pretty high warehouses, So European standards are 8-10 meters, And then if you build now your e-commerce warehouse into it and you use only 2 meters of it, that is obviously not a very efficient use of that warehouse. So if you want to do it with peak towers, okay, you can solve the space constraint, but then you need a lot of labor, because now you have stairs, now you have to have a lot of pickers in order to make use of it. So first of the problem, Then the other perspective is stationary automation. If you look at conventional systems, then they were built for specific scenarios. So looking at an automation planning process, I would look at a business case, I would analyze it, and then I would design a specific ASRS and a specific conveyor system in front of it with a specific workstation in it, and that whole thing is hard-coded. So if you're now saying suddenly, I do want to have to run other order profiles, it is very difficult to change a crane or a shuttle system or the related conveyor or sort in front of it. We're talking about millions of euros of equipment with a static software solution. So if I need to change it, I have to remove parts of it, I have to exchange them. And on top of it, the lead times for this type of technologies is long. So we're not talking about, I want to change it today and 2 months later it's changed. It really means that I have to plan it for a couple of months, then I have maybe a year of delivering time, and then I have to stop my operation, change the necessary equipment, and then I can start to run it again. So we're talking about long time, and then on top of it, I have to stop my business and have to handle it somewhere else, which is a lot of cost involved. And if we look now on the mobile automation side, I think that's what we're going to do, then this is definitely a complete different level of flexibility.
So that brings us to the idea that adaptable solutions do matter, and that modular approach, like Hi Robotics does, is the answer to it, right?
Because yeah, exactly. So we have the possibility now that maybe starting from the software side of it. Yeah. So we have quite sophisticated possibilities now to track the existing warehouse already. Yeah? We have a data platform which enables us to track all what is happening within our warehouse. So if today on the customer side, we see what is happening on the customer side. ERP is going to check how the order profiles look from your customer, etc. But you want to understand also how your warehouse works. Yeah, does the system efficiently use all its resources or not? Yeah, so data platform is giving you the possibility to track how are the robots performing, how are the workstations performing, do we see congestions in it, are the charging strategies correct? So we have a sophisticated software platform where we can analyze what's going on in the warehouse and then optimize based on it to speed up. And at the same time, we could now also look into if my business now is changing, for example, what does it mean to our automated warehouse? Yeah, based on what we know how the system is performing, if my profile is now changing into another direction, how can I change my software strategy to adapt to the new setup? And at the same time, we have also the hardware, right? The second important component of it. Yeah, we talked already about stationary automation, very difficult to change, right? So now in mobile automation, we literally do everything mobile, right? We are driving with the vehicles directly to workstations, yeah? So what's been before a complicated conveyor setup is now handled by robots, meaning if I want to change my setup now in the warehouse, think something like I need additional workstations, yeah? Then literally I'm just open additional space, I put down some QR codes, I put a workstation there, and then I just activate in the software that they're using this additional area, and we already optimized. We are not talking now about 1 year or 1.5 years. We are literally talking about a delivery time of this workstation in 4 months. Yeah, so we can within 5-6 months react on our business change quite quickly. At the same time, now just imagine you have more throughput. Yeah, so we said already the additional SKUs are coming in means also the robots need to do this job now, right? Somebody needs to get to pick it, but I have only a certain speed, yeah. And if I get a stacker crane in there which can do 150 per hour, and I need now 170, you need to build an additional stacker crane, which is again 18 months. If in our mobile automation world I need more performance, you order some robots, and then 4 months later they are on site, we unbox them and we switch them on, and they're doing the job. Yeah, so you can scale up your performance to your business quite quickly. And then maybe to add one more, is that if you look at the workstation itself, if you need to change the workstation, again, it's not connected to a conveyor system. So it is also able to change it quite easily.
That's beautiful how our solutions are the answers to all of the possible changes that businesses face. And if we are now going maybe deeper into each of the challenge and see what the market says, what also the research says, and how we can offer the solution for that.
Looks good.
For one of the first challenges is that, many SKUs and too little time. We already had the little discussion here, was me being a shopaholic, an online shopaholic, I definitely choose a lot of things. I want them already to be tomorrow. I want to try them on, and I want to decide if I'm keeping something or not.
Yeah.
And so far as I see, I'm not the only one in here. It's almost 80% of shoppers who also want the wide variety of products on the platforms. In addition to that, a good return policy is something that I'm looking into as well. And this brings the challenge to the e-commerce platforms to adapt to high SKU variability and to have more efficient picks. As sometimes I do like the same thing in different colors. This also brings more fragmented picks, more complex fulfillment, And yes, I'd prefer to have it tomorrow because the day after tomorrow I go to a concert and I need to wear something new. How do we face this challenge? How does system react as well as the industry reacts on it?
Yeah, so maybe let's look at it again from a warehouse perspective. Yeah. So as you said, now we have already the variety of SKUs, right? So you just said that you're not, if you would go now into a shop, you have that limited amount of things, obviously. And in e-commerce, you have different ones. So now we have to handle already that we have to have several SKUs which are spread all over the warehouse, and we need to bring them into a certain workstation in order to deliver your order. And we need to do this quickly, right? It's because you don't want to wait, right? So the first challenge is obviously that you need to now not replenish that store, which is easy. I just take obviously a B2B order and the next day I deliver it to the shop. But now I need to have single SKUs. Yeah, I have the single items now, which I have to bring all together to a workstation in a very fast time. Yeah. So here's coming the first pressure. Yeah. So if you now have pickers running around in your warehouse, you obviously need much more of these pickers in order that they can get all the different sizes and colors you have chosen and bring them to there. So the first is this is very fragmented. It's a very difficult fight to find them. The second thing is I need them all in one. I don't have the whole day to fulfill that order for that store now. Yeah, I suddenly need to have all of these items in one batch at the workstation in order to complete that order, and then pack it and send it to you. So there's different ways of doing it, right? We can do the two-step picking that we first do a batch pick where we have all different types of SKUs and bringing them together, and then we sort them towards a packaging thing, yeah? But that means already having several technologies to be in use. But at the same time, you could use maybe our workstation even to pick and pack. Would mean that now we patch that order, right? We bring all of them together in one sequence to our workstation. We immediately on the workstation now create that order, and then we send it either directly to packaging, or what we're seeing more and more, that even you pack it also on that workstation and then directly send it to shipping. Yeah. So we have different possibilities now on creating this order for you, and that with quite high speed. Yeah. Another thing is that we have now a lot of prioritization suddenly. Yeah. So again, what I said is like for B2B, it's easy that you have a long time span where you can put these orders together, while for e-commerce, I have a very short time. And now if you have the premium package with your e-commerce, yeah, then you maybe also insist that you don't get it in 2 days. You maybe want to have it on the same day, yeah. So which means now in the warehouse, I need a prioritization. Yeah, I have to say now I have a big order pool I work on, and I'm working it off. It's easy, right? We can have high efficiencies, but if your order now needs to go out within 1 hour, then we have to have the possibility now to tell our system to bring this order first. That's creating some challenges. So if you look at traditional systems, they have reaction times of 15, 30 minutes in order to react on such an urgent order, which we call it, yeah. While our system, especially with HaiPulse Climb now with this one system, we literally can bring a single SKU within 3 minutes to that workstation, yeah. So we have a great possibility to speed that up, yeah.
We go then to the next challenge. Mm-hmm. And as we already touched upon it, it's not, Europe is an expensive place, and the spots, the warehouses, rentals are increasing, which makes, to fulfillments reconsider their space. But in addition to that, they want to grow as they see that the spaces that they own right now, at least in Europe, they understand that in the upcoming 12 months, they want to expand. Also due to the variety, you need to store all the things somewhere. And the market itself, even the rental market and even the warehouse are not available with that growth. which brings an important challenge and pressure, also making it a possibility to grow, not in the width, but in height, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. So if we look at the warehouse market and especially the the marketplace itself, yeah. So first is that most of the distribution networks for brick and mortar were local ones. So you would have in Netherlands, you would have one maybe close to a harbor, right? So there's a reason why near to Rotterdam there's so many different warehouses. So you would have a local warehouse in order to distribute to these retail chains because you wanted to shorten these distances. You had a quite fragmented logistic system. If you look now on e-commerce, I maybe don't need this in Netherlands for Netherlands. I can maybe do from Netherlands all over Europe. If you look into the transport logistics, that made this whole more efficient. Yeah. So the idea is changing. Yeah. So it's not lots of small warehouses. It is maybe medium-sized warehouses which are strategically now put at places which are good for logistics and where I have maybe affordable labor. Yeah. So we can see a strong move, right? For example, Poland was hyped quite crazily in the last years. So all this German-Polish border, you see lots of new warehouses being built. So this comes with a challenge, right? If you need to build, you need already to build a new warehouse. You have constraints from the government that you're not allowed to build everywhere, so it's already expensive to build now from that end. And then off top, you have construction companies, which after Corona became very expensive. So to build a new warehouse is becoming an expensive task. The second one is now these new places, which are good for transport logistics, which is certain places, are not many, right? So we can understand if you look at the EMEA, everybody wants to build more or less at the same spots because that's now good for your logistics. But it also means you're building now warehouses, places where maybe there are not enough people. Yeah. If you look, for example, at this Polish example, in that area, there wasn't even as many people. Yeah. So it's quite difficult now to staff it with labor. How you can react on it. Yeah. So the next possibility is natural. Yeah. So it is going to be some kind of automation. The next thing what we're looking at is that if we building a new warehouse now, yeah, we definitely build it according to what is sensible for automation. Yeah, it is not. If I would build a manual warehouse, I have different requirements to it than to an automated system. Yeah, but on the other side now, if I do want to save some money, but I want to reuse an existing warehouse, for example, then it's very important how I can react now on the building. Yeah, how flexible I am to adapt to the building. Yeah, so the first thing is now how can we use this space now? Yeah, in this brownfield we call it. Yeah, so an existing warehouse. So instead of the 2 meters which we talked about before in the main area, but we use not all the 12 meters of it. And how do I change it? Yeah, maybe I don't want to automate the complete process immediately. Yeah, I want to start with automating half of my operation, and half of it I want to still be manual, and then in the later stage I grow it continuously. Yeah, so we are seeing now a very nice flexibility that we can build it step by step. Yeah, so I can add, as discussed before, if I need more shelves, I add racking. If I need more performance, I need more bots. Yeah. So here we have shown the example from John Lewis. As UK, we all know with the Brexit, there was lots of movement in the logistics as well. Yeah. So it was not so easy to ship from continental Europe anymore. So there was a lot of demand to changing it, and Lewis had also very nice growth with very high number of SKUs. So also they were going in this direction and was using this flexible system in order to adapt to their business.
Yeah, indeed. And also John Lewis, it's also a brownfield. So they also took an existing already warehouse, but they optimized it so that they can use the entire space of that warehouse.
Yes.
Thank you. Let's go to the next challenge, which is the short lead times for implementation. And so as the businesses grow, they want to automate faster, they find the budgets, they want to be bold, but also it comes with the risks. And someone needs to take the risks. Also, someone needs to be sure that it falls under the right timing, because they wanted it already tomorrow to be there and serving their customers. How is our solution looking into it, and how does the industry adapt to it?
Yeah, that's a very good point. Just imagine now if you want to automate something with a traditional automation system. I'm planning now based on my order data I have, yeah, and promises of sales, how they will grow. I'm planning a warehouse in 2, 3 years. Why that? So I have a planning period, and then I have an implementation period, then I have a ramp up, and then I have a productive system. And now in a traditional system, we're talking like half a year of planning, maybe, or maybe a year. And then we're talking about 1.5 years to build it. And then another half year to tune it up to bring it to the speed what I'm expecting. So that the 2, 3 years is we are planning in these long time frames because it really takes so long that we are getting there. And now in 3 years, we would hope that the business is still what we wanted, right? What we planned 3 years ago now should be reality, yeah? And looking at the last 10 years, how the markets were evolving, how ups and downs were evolving businesses, who can say what is really happening in 3 years? It is a very difficult decision to make for a management looking at how high these capex investments are. Because now your daily operation is one thing of risk, but if you have to do a multi-million capex decision, then this is obviously its own challenge. Yeah? So looking now at our own solution, yeah, we literally can deliver a system already with 7 months. It sounds crazy, but it is literally possible. Why is it possible? We do have a very good standardized system with very short lead times in the production. We do produce the robots and we completely test and commission them in our factories, and then we deliver them on site, and this short lead time is only 4 months. So from your order until the robots are coming on site, it's only 4 months. And then if you look at our racking and tote suppliers, etc., they are following the same lead time. So we're talking all this equipment is coming in time. The next step is now we are on site. Yeah, we literally need only a month or 2 in order to commission all the robots and racks, etc., on site. And then we are talking about being after 6 months live. Yeah, and needing a month maybe to tune it, and after 7 months you have your system on hand. So now the challenge to the management is not anymore what do I need in 3 years. The question is what do I do in 8 months, and that's already much easier to say. It's not easy, but it's still easier to decide on or to know what is happening. The next thing is now you don't need to build the warehouse for the complete for what's happening in 3 years. I don't need to say now how many robots I need in 3 years. I just build that thing now, and then if I see my business is growing, I'm just again buying racks, buying bots, etc. when I need it, because I know within 4 to 5 months I can extend my system, I can speed up my system, and again there it's easier to say again when to do that decision and when to scale again.
That should be flattering for the management of the big operations, that they can see the results and then adjust and grow together.
I think that's for me personally. I think this is the main reason of the success of HaiRobotics is we have sold 60 systems in like 3 years, right? In a market which is not growing as fast, right? So we can see that this flexibility is appreciated by management. And
let's go to the next challenge. And next challenge is something we already, touched upon. But now let's see what statistics says. Labor. There is shortages. And as you, Alexander, already mentioned, but people don't want to work in the warehouses. It's not a prestigious job anymore. And especially with the growing demands, it's a full-time job. Also, sometimes the shifts are different, and the labor, but it's also the turnover, that the mistakes happen when you have new people. You need to teach them how to do the job.
Definitely, we still need labor, right? We still need a picker, we still need a packer, and etc. But it is, of course, a different thing if I have persons going to goods and bringing them down to workstations, or if I have bots doing that movement. Yeah. So it's depending on the business case. Now we have different savings, but they can be 3, 4 times. Yeah. So it can mean that instead of 10, I maybe need only 2. Yeah. And this is already a change. And the second thing is that it is a nicer job, yeah. Being at the ergonomic workstation, where I do my pick stuff and whatever I do on the workstation, or I have to run around in warehouses which are hot and whatsoever. Yeah. So I think it's easier to find people to do the job on GTP workstations than having run around in peak towers. Yeah. And then the second thing is that if you look today at the accuracy of a picker, is also on a workstation I can indicate with different technologies what he needs to pick and where to pick it to. I can do quality control with scales or with lights, etc. So we have very sophisticated technology today to make sure what he has done on that workstation is also accurate. Yeah, so this is very often not seen if you play in a warehouse. Yeah, the cost of picking something wrong is so much higher than you expect. Yeah, so I'm saying you ordered your blue shoes, yeah, but you get green shoes. So okay, maybe you like the green shoes and you keep it, but it's very likely you send it back, right? So we have now the cost of sending it there. We have the cost of sending it back. We have the cost now of bringing the return back into the warehouse, which is intensive. Just imagine any return has a quality check. Every return has to be maybe repacked, and then it has to bring back into the system, and then it has to be picked again. Yeah. So we're talking about that complete return cycle that is very expensive. Yeah. So obviously I want to minimize it as good as possible. Yeah. So with automation, we are reaching this accuracy to make this more efficient. Yeah.
And one of our recent implementation projects, how did they solve the problem of labor?
Yeah, I think that's already the very good example where you can see that you're already 4 times faster now than they have been with the same warehouse, with the same footprint, with the same possibility. Yeah, so we had now not only that we got much more into it, right? So we had now 100,000 locations suddenly on 4,000 square meters. So talking about SKU variability again. So now they had the possibility to store much more. They also were able to get much more orders out of it. Yeah? So also the efficiency is much higher, obviously with much less people to do the job.
And then people get their own spots, and then it's a sort of gamification where the training is more technical, where you are working together with the workstation rather than as a separate picker.
Yeah, I think it's self-explaining that if you have a workstation with a clear, intuitive process, it's much easier to onboard somebody, right? If you know yourself, if you do something the first time and you now have to find yourself in a pick tower and have to find all the different areas and places, etc., and then understand how your devices and your pick card works, etc., then if you come to a workstation where you have a clear description on the screen what you need to do step by step, so an onboarding onto a workstation is a really quick thing.
Thank you, Alexander, for such a thorough discussion about these challenges. I guess it's the right time to conclude for us and to see what we've discussed the entire webinar were the challenges. These challenges are existent for many fulfillments, for many commerce and retails. How do we see the solution?
So I think the first one, and I think the most important for me, is this flexibility mentioned, I think, 1 million times today. So I think the biggest benefit is that you have high flexibility with a proven and reliable delivery. Yeah, so we simulate the stuff. We make sure that you get exactly what you have ordered. So I think then yeah. So sorry to come back again. So it is that we have a modular system which is flexible enough to build it in steps, and we can prove it with the simulation. And of course, not to forget us. Yeah, sorry about that. So yeah, my team is like, we are now already 14 people in EMEA, which all come from the intralogistics industry with years of experience designing warehouses. So we can help a lot in working with our customers together on the most efficient and cost-effective solution to do the job.
Well, expertise always matters.
Yeah, it helps.
Yes, this was a great webinar. Thank you so much. I want to remind you that we have rolled out our virtual warehouse with our newest system, HaiPulse. So please scan the QR code and check it for yourself. Also, you can see it yourself. You can see HaiPulse yourself on IMHX in September and Logistics and Automation in October. Please visit us. We'll be there together with our demo. Have a discussion with us. Have a look. Prepare your questions, and we will be happy to answer them. And now about the questions. Should we go into the inbox and answer some of those?
Of course.
So I see. Do I see the questions? Second here. Yes. How does the system handle frequent SKU changes, especially with promotional cycles and seasonal shifts?
Yeah, that's a really good point. Looking at the warehouse, we obviously have different areas with different velocities, right? This ABC talked about several times. So in general, we have fast-moving areas and we have slow-moving areas. So what's happening in the system when you need now, crazy marketing is doing a promotion, then obviously we have a slow mover, which is suddenly a fast mover.
Christmas sale.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that. So what you can do is that you just do relocation, right? You just, before you do the promotion, hopefully, you tell us before that we have to have slow movers are getting fast movers, then you can relocate them into a faster moving area. And at the same time, for seasonal changes, naturally, your bikini, for example, in October suddenly is becoming from a fast mover, a slow mover, and the winter jacket is suddenly not a slow mover anymore and it's becoming a fast mover. So for seasonal changes, we have the possibilities to use free capacities of the system, then to relocate from slower to faster areas or back.
That's very adaptive. Can the HaiPulse system support click and collect or fulfillment models?
Yeah, that's a great possibility there. So, I mean, one thing is now e-commerce, right? It's click and collect is more than the connection between e-commerce and the brick and mortar. So you literally just now still order your e-commerce stuff with the huge variety of SKUs, right? Which is not in the store, but you want to pick it up in the store because you want to try it on and not return it. You're environmental friendly. So from this point of view, yes, there we have the great possibilities. So we have quite a good number of omnichannel fulfillments already, where we do have the B2C picking on one side and B2B picking on the other side. And it's quite easily actually that we bring then these B2C orders and consolidate them with the B2B orders, sent together to the stores.
Thank you. Let's take the next one. How difficult it is to relocate or expand the system if our footprint changes?
Yeah, that's exciting actually. For my previous jobs, I always said systems are flexible, right? But to be honest, stationary automation is not so much, right? It's very difficult to decommission a stacker crane. But it is quite easy with a high system. So we have quite good quality steel racking. which you can decommission and put into a container, move it to another warehouse, and recommission it again. We talked about QR codes on the ground, right? It's very easy to stick them down and use them also somewhere else. And also our workstations are plug and play. So you literally, it's very easy to even relocate a complete system into another warehouse. And I think we have talked about expanding systems already. So it's very easy to open the fence and add some racking. And from this side, super flexible.
Great. Taking it home with you.
Yes.
What next one? And I guess the last one, let's wrap it up. What's the realistic go live time if we start the project now? That's a good question. That's
a very fair point. Yeah. So
business development.
in a moment, we are shipping a little bit longer because of the geopolitical problems. Yeah. So it's about 1 month more. So we're talking in a moment something between 7 to 9 months from a small to medium system.
That's crazy.
Order to go live.
The go live. This is immediate results even in the business landscape.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you, Alexander. Thank you so much. Thanks everyone who was with us for during this webinar, and see you soon for another episode maybe.
Looking forward to that. Thanks, Anna.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.